Gather in this place. We hear business of the city. God, pray for all of our leaders. God, that you just give wisdom tonight in the meeting, and God, for our city in the coming days as elections happen. God, just pray for just a willingness of people to actually exercise their right to vote. So help them not be lazy and go do that. So thanks for that, God. Pray that you bless this meeting tonight, that we'd honor you and all that's said. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have roll call. I don't know where they are. I mean, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for July 19th?
I'll make the motion.
Second. Is there any correction? If not, call the vote.
Alderman Swan. Alderman Vine. Alderman Kilgore. Alderman Hawley.
I don't have anything to bring before bed. Comment from citizens?
Yeah, I wanted to address the council on something that I see every day around the city, because I go down Woodland Road every day for the crossing guard job. And I was so happy to see when the old Arco station was being demolished there, and I thought, boy, there's a real improvement for the town, you know. And then on top of the good things that have been happening with the work that was done, the physical work that's been done around the town. And then I was just disappointed here as the summer wore on, because it looked as though they just one day stopped what they were doing, and there's some old steel beams that are laying there in that lot, and that lot has just grown up to a weed patch. And I just think it's something that we as the town could do better on when it comes to people to come to our town, and they see things like that, and it sort of sets a bad example, you know, for our town. Another place just that I might mention is there when you turn on South Ramsey Street, there by the old jail, that old green house that's sitting there on the right side, that place there, it looks like it should have been demolished many years ago, but that's all grown up with weeds there. And I go back to the philosophy that a town that takes good care of its looks is going to always be a town where there's going to be less crime, less discord with people, you know, with good neighbors, and then they've got somebody next door that owns a property that they don't take care of whatsoever. And we could all ride all over town and find places like that. And I understand that, and I understand the limits that the town has, what they can do with places like that. But I think it'd be interesting to find out some other places in our state where they've dealt with this themselves and see what part of the answers might be to correct that, to follow through with when places need to be torn down or the weeds need to be cut. And there's no way that I'm addressing, you guys all know all of this. So I'm kind of speaking to the choir here.
Okay, I'll get somebody to look at it.
And also, I just want to thank you, Mayor, for the job that you and our aldermen do all the time. And I don't think a lot of people appreciate, because they just don't know what all that you have before you, you know, all the time to address. And but that's one thing that I think that Manchester could really improve on, is the appearance of our properties.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
For your time.
All right. Anyone? State your name.
Mayor and Board of Aldermen, thank you for the opportunity to speak for you.
Will you state your name,
Yes.
please?
I am Howard Thompson, as chairman of the Coffee County Veterans Association, CCVA, and I am the commander of the Disabled American Veterans, DAV Chapter 9 in Coffee County. Right here is Tom Ewell, the incoming chairman of the Coffee County Veterans Association and commander of VFW Post 10904, Manchester. Beside him is Rick Jernigan, the past commander of the American Legion Gold Star Post 78, Manchester, Tennessee. I'm here to speak to you on behalf of the Coffee County Veterans Association, CCVA, to ask for your support and ask you to choose us, the CCVA, to conduct Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Patriots Day ceremonies for the city of Manchester. The CCVA is composed of elected representatives of the three organizations that I just announced. We have about 700 members. Each group in the CCVA is governed by local, state, national bylaws and constitutions. Forwards reports to and is governed by state and national headquarters. Has strict procedures for handling money and has mandated outside audits. Is a 501c3 organization and prohibited from engaging in politics. All of our meetings are alcohol and tobacco free, and the CCVA has liability insurance. The following is a list of some of the services, programs, and assistance our groups provide our local veterans, their families, and widows. Provide money directly to needy veterans for food, clothing, rent, automobile repairs, gasoline, temporary lodging, and other emergencies that arise. Some members volunteer to be chapter service officers and donate their time to help veterans obtaining government assistance that is due them. Transport veterans to VA hospitals in Nashville and Murfreesboro and local clinics. Provide families of deceased veterans services such as, but not limited to, presentation of the United States flag, flag honor guard, body escort, and taps when requested by the families. Donate funds to the honor flights. Some members pay their own ticket, $400, to go as assistants, pushing wheelchairs and helping in other capacities. Promote Americanism and patriotism in our schools through several programs, which we reward winning participation with scholarships and cash. We organize the only Patriots Day ceremony in this area to honor our first responders. Planned, organized, and for more than 30 years conducted Memorial Day and Veterans Day ceremonies to help our fellow citizens remember and honor our men and women veterans who served, fought for, and gave their lives for our liberty. Tim Brown was a trusted member of the American Legion and was elected to Vice Commander of the VFW. He was allowed to plan and conduct the 2015 Veterans Day events. A problem arose when Mr. Brown chose to want participation from other CCVA veterans at the event. We tried to handle this matter internally with the meeting with Mr. Brown. Unable to resolve this issue, we were forced into a fight or flight situation. Fight for the right of our members to participate in these events that were supposed to be for all veterans, including them, or let Mr. Brown take over and continue to do things his way. We have had numerous complaints from our members and from private citizens about some of the decisions and actions of Mr. Brown, so we chose to fight. But we voted unanimously to wait until after the Veterans Day ceremony 2015. We did nothing to interfere with that ceremony. We also voted to send letters to both city and county mayors, stating that the CCVA intended to retake control of future veteran ceremonies starting in 2016 and asked for their help. The letters are dated 18 November 2015 for the city and 20 November 2015 for the county. Both mayors asked the same two questions. How did this happen? And why can't you work together? I think I've answered the first question already, how this happened. Mr. Brown attended a CCVA meeting on 25 April 2016. He was informed that we had a program for the 2016 Memorial Day and that he was not included. I was aware that he already knew this. A threat was made by Mr. Brown at this meeting. At our next CCVA meeting, our CCVA meetings are recorded, and the recordings, along with handwritten notes, are used to write the minutes of our proceedings. At the next CCVA meeting, a motion was made and seconded to send a copy of the approved minutes of the April 25th proceedings to both mayors, which we did. I would think that the mayors, on reading them, would understand why we cannot work with Mr. Brown. On Wednesday, the 25th May, the Manchester Times printed a full-page ad. Came out right before the ceremonies, and I'm sure most of you read this. I have it if you would like to see it. It's an open letter from Master Sergeant Tim Brown. As much as I would like to fully respond to this open letter and give all the reasons why the CCVA, not the VFW, as Tim Brown claims, voted unanimously to exclude Mr. Brown from future control of our ceremonies, I will address only a few. I would also like to refer to another article published in the Manchester Times Conflicting Ceremonies Causing Controversy. With the hope of convincing you to support the CCVA, your local veterans. To begin with, I quote Mr. Brown in this article. published the 29th of June, 2016. Don't let them political people talk. It's not about them. It's about the veterans. All of the current leaders and voting members of the Coffee County Veterans Association are in complete agreement with Mr. Brown on this one key issue. The people that he did not let talk at last year's Veterans Day ceremony were the commanders, right here, and our chaplain. Not one of us has ever run for public office. Not one of us has any intention of doing so. Mr. Brown, however, is a politician. He ran for county mayor in the last election, and he also ran for sheriff. It would appear that he wants to be the only politician in the spotlight. He seems to imply elected officials, regardless of what they have to say, should not be included in the ceremony. But they have not been making political statements at our events, as you well know if you've attended. The fact that Mr. Brown did not want local civic leaders participating is one of the reasons the CCVA voted unanimously to remove control from him. We are veterans of the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. Some of us are combat veterans. Some of us with a Purple Heart. Some of us decorated for real valor. And some of us have permanent disabilities as a result of our service to our country. We are not outsiders, as Tim Brown publicly called us in this article. Being called an outsider is particularly offensive to Vietnam veterans. When we came home, we were treated as outsiders. But not now, Mr. Master Sergeant Tim Brown. Not now, not ever again will we stand by and let our name be traduced. We question Mr. Brown's judgment and possibly his motive in presenting his swords of valor. What valor? What did the recipients do in Tim Brown's judgment to distinguish themselves from the thousands of veterans that live in our area? I do not believe that they are all World War II vets. I do not believe they are all seriously ill. And if I recall correctly, these were two of the factors that he mentioned in making these decisions. Naomi Judd, who received the Sword of Valor, certainly does not fall into either group. We realize that there have been persons that were deserving, but there are others that were also deserving because of their service in and out of uniform. They were overlooked. We have concerns about Mr. Brown soliciting donations. Mr. Brown used events that were supposed to honor veterans to ask for money. 5-gallon buckets were placed at the Memorial Day ceremony, and he asked for donations to pay for the programs. Not to help the veterans, but to pay for programs, his programs. How much did he receive? One person made a point of presenting a $1,000 check. Did he keep records? If so, who checked it? One person at a meeting asked Tim Brown, how much did you take in? He was told it's none of your business. Where did the money go? Are there any disbursement records? Mr. Brown came up with a program where for $25 anyone could have a poster made with a picture of a veteran with military information of their choosing. Little pictures with the red border and the stars around the side look like those pictures that I've seen. On Memorial Day 2015, some of these posters were attached to a stick and driven into the ground in front of the memorials of our fallen heroes. As I looked at the posters, I realized that several of them were not only alive, but were sitting in the audience. I sat down beside one of them for the rest of the ceremony. However, in the June 29th article that I referred to earlier, Tim Brown said, and I quote, "Memorial Day is about the veterans who died serving our country." We questioned Mr. Brown's motive. Was this Memorial Day to honor those who gave their lives, as he said, or was it something else? Why did he choose to honor a few living individuals this way on Memorial Day in front of the memorials to our fallen heroes? Again, how much money did he raise? And where did it go? I say again, we have received numerous complaints from members and from citizens about these and other things that have been going on. We believe the question should not be whether or not to give the permit to Mr. Brown or any other individual, but should be, would you take it away from the group of veterans who for more than 30 years planned, organized, promoted, and conducted the current series of Memorial Day and Veterans Day ceremonies for the city of Manchester, and who requested to continue to do so in November of 2015. If you wanted to rename a street or a building to honor an individual, I believe you could find a way to do it. We are asking you to honor all veterans past and present on Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and find a way to designate the Coffee County Veterans Association as the group of veterans to conduct the events for the city of Manchester, Tennessee. Thank you all.
Okay, any more comment from citizens?
I've got a few. My name's Tim Brown. I'm not going to be long-winded like Howard, because a lot of the stuff he said didn't mean anything about Memorial Day or Veterans Day. He went on and talked about everything, and a lot of it is to do with the money, because that's all they're looking for is money. They got $5,000 from Diane Black or her husband that day, and Howard also asked for part of the money when I collect it so they can use it. And I don't know how many years Veterans Day and Memorial Day's been going on. It may be 30. But when I remember going to it 25 years ago, when I come back from Iraq the first time, 25, 30 people on the square. That's all it was. They were in charge of it, yes. 25 to 30 people every year. It was a disgrace to the veterans for me to see that many people cared about the veterans. So I don't know what year it was, 2010, 11, 12, somewhere through there, they got tired of doing it. They asked who wanted to take it over. I took it over. When I took it over, I'd done everything I could, the posters, the swords, anything I could think of to get the crowd up. I got the crowd up to 500, 600, 700 people, and now with it that size, they want it back. And they're going to ruin it, as everybody's seen Memorial Day. They didn't care about the veterans. They put a stage up there blocking B.J. Schroeth's memorial. He was behind the stage. Disgrace to him for dying for our country, and a disgrace to his family. All I'm asking for, and I know how it's going to go. And it's probably better off that I don't have it, because I spend a lot of my own money doing this. I buy the swords. I give a sword to whoever I want to give it to. And Naomi Judd didn't get it for honor or valor. She got it for spending her time coming to Manchester to do a favor for the veterans. I paid for the sword. I give it to who I want to give it to. They put one wreath, Memorial Day, one wreath at the stones. I put 15. after the service was over, Howard Thompson runs, gets it, puts it back in his car because he probably had it borrowed from some florist. He don't buy them, he borrows them. I put the 15 up there and they stay all day. His stayed for about 1 minute. So, fine, if we want to give it to them, they're going to destroy both.
I don't know anything about whether they'll destroy it or whether they won't destroy it. As he said, the veterans have always had it,
And I'm a veteran.
and the veterans are still gonna have it. If this board won't vote, they can, or they can, this is what I say, they can do it. But I don't appreciate you saying that we were doing it political, and you come up here and we wouldn't let you have it and all that. It's one veteran. You, and just them sitting there, and you one person. They were the one that said they were gonna have it. And we let them have it. And you went and told the paper that I wouldn't sign for you to have it and the chief wouldn't sign it.
You wouldn't sign it.
No, we didn't sign it. We didn't sign it.
That's right.
And I told you really what we didn't vet. But I told you, if you want to have something, you could, two people can have it at the same time. If you want to have something, you could have it anytime you wanted to, and we'd support you. But when the veterans say they was going to have it, they were going to have it. Didn't nobody tell you that you couldn't have nothing on the square.
You did for Veterans Day because I come for a permit, you refused to sign it. I was the first.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you did. You and Mark Yoder both refused to sign.
You didn't say, well, we kept telling you that you set a time, because they had set a time, and you wouldn't set a time.
No, I had the only
I'm
permit.
through with it.
Well, I'm not through with it. I had the only permit, you wouldn't sign it.
No, you didn't, we didn't sign it.
Yeah, you're right, you
And
didn't sign
until
it.
the veterans say they're not gonna have it, they're gonna have it.
I'm a veteran.
Well, they are too.
And I know how it's gonna go. I knew it'd go this way.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, shut up. I got the floor, you don't need to shut you. See, this is the way veterans act. Oh, shut up, Brad. You shut up. You shut up. Control this meeting, or I'll shut up.
Hey. Okay, you can sit down.
I might not have been finished yet.
Well, you through. You through.
I know that. Damn right, it's a bunch of fucking
I
junk.
removed my stuff as an alderman if I had something to say as a citizen. I thought that the exchange here was disrespectful to all veterans, both from both sides. I thought that you took some punches at Tim, and I thought Tim took some punches at several people. There is such a divide across our entire country right now. And right here in downtown Manchester, we have a divide. And it's our veterans, the people that all the kids and even myself tend to look up to on a daily basis. And we want to get in an argument. The mayor wants to be disrespectful. Tim wants to be disrespectful. I don't even want to go back up there and sit down. This is not the town that I want to live in. There's been enough divide on this board for the 4 years that I've been up here. It's heartbreaking to think that our veterans are now divided. I don't think it's our decision to make, Mayor. I think that the veterans should try to find some type of compromise.
We asked them to do that.
He's a veteran, and if they just accept him in the group as a member, he was. Why can't you do that now? Tim, can you be a member and be a part? You're a veteran.
I've tried and I'll work with them if they want to work with me. I'll do it.
He said he'll do it. Will you guys please accept him back as a member, and you all put the ceremonies on together?
Our first class, Tom Shule, U.S. Army retired. I've been in all three organizations for quite a while. I'm a combat veteran. Plus, we got the disabled American veterans. What does that mean? It means these men and women have received some kind of injury, illness during their time of service, but yet they help other veterans. DAV has a fan. We carry veterans to VA appointments, doctor's appointments. They do that every week, week in and week out. Veterans Foreign Wars. No one does more for veterans than the DFW. What do you mean veterans of foreign wars? I'm talking about the men and women that actually was in a combat zone, that actually fought in the wars, actually fought in the battles of these wars. World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Kuwait, Iraq, Afghanistan. We're the veterans that make up this. American Legion. These veterans serve here in the United States and on foreign soil also. Tim mentioned $5,000. Let me tell you where that $5,000 went. It wasn't to the veterans. Not one of our organizations received that money, but it went to the honor flight to help them carry veterans to the memorials in Washington, D.C. Who are we? We're the veterans of this community. We're the veterans of this city. We're the veterans of this county that make this up. We're your veterans. And what we're asking for is a permit, permanent permit, just like the county has given us. They give us a permanent permit for the square for Memorial Day, Patriots Day, and Veterans Day. We ask you to do the same thing for our veterans, your veterans. Give us that standing permit. I ask that God bless all our veterans. That includes you, Tim.
Well, thank you. After y'all come here to beat me up.
This mayor and all, I ask God to bless the USA. God, thank you.
I'm Susan Parsley. I'll try to speak. I don't know, this really touched me. The number one thing is maybe we can all get together and pray. God is the answer to everything. There is so much going on in our country. God bless you, veterans. I mean, I have a son that's in the Navy. I have no clue where he's at right now. To sit there and listen to y'all fuss and fight breaks my heart. I know a lot of you. I know Tim Brown. Everybody join together. Let's not be kids on a playground. There is too many people that look up to you. Every time I know of anyone, and even before my son was in the military, my father, my brother, nephew, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, I've had family members, friends that have served. I think that's one of the best things, most wonderful things anyone can do. I love America. I love our country. I love Manchester. Please, put this all aside. This is piddly. Everybody get along. I mean, just give each other a hug and love each other. I mean, come on. There is people killing people for anything. Who you are, what you, it doesn't matter. Love everybody and stop all this. No one come back up and say, I mean, just get along. Get along. Love each other. God bless everybody.
Anyone there?
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen. My name is Lamar Wilkie. As past commander of your Colleton County DAV, I find it disheartening that there's a campaign to smear and tarnish the reputation of your local veterans organizations. It might be easy for someone to assume that all we do is put on 3 ceremonies a year, because that's what we do publicly. And those ceremonies are important as a matter of symbolism, but it doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't put food on the table or gas in the car. That's what your veterans organizations do. For example, the DAV sets aside thousands of dollars a year to directly help veterans and their families, whether it's paying the power bill to keep the lights on, emergency car repairs for a veteran's widow, grocery store gift cards to feed a veteran and her daughter, or a motel room for a homeless veteran, with food money for the weekend until we can get them to the Homeless Veterans Assistance Office in Nashville. Those are all things we've actually done recently. But we don't grandstand or make a show of our good works, partly out of respect for the privacy of the veterans we help. We choose to serve veterans in quiet humility because we feel it's the right thing to do. Now, to the matter at hand, every person sees the world differently, through a lens of filters and biases that are a product of their environment and experiences. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's lends to our individuality as humans. If any one individual undertakes a project, they inherently do so through the lens of their own filters and biases, completely unintentionally, mind you. But important things may be excluded simply because it didn't occur to that person to include them. When a group undertakes a project, everyone approaches it from a different perspective, and those individual biases level each other out, making for a better outcome. And if any one individual is given complete autonomy over these ceremonies, there's a real risk that these ceremonies will begin to drift away from the meaning of the day. Not intentionally, but because of those biases and filters unique to that individual. And if one individual does the ceremonies this time, there's nothing to say that another individual will want to do them next time, and another after that. All with different worldviews. There would be no consistency. That's why it makes infinitely more sense for your nonprofit veterans organizations to coordinate our annual ceremonies than to release the care of these solemn events to any one individual, regardless of their motive for wanting that autonomy. In closing, when I read these attacks on your veterans organizations that are doing magnificent work for local veterans and families, I have to wonder why. These organizations have coordinated these events for decades, and while they may not be star-studded multimedia extravaganzas, that's not the intent. We always have remained true to the meaning of the day, and that's what's important, isn't it? Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get into the meeting. Say it, man.
We'll be in meeting tomorrow, 5
Finance. Arts Commission. Street. Water and sewer. Decoration.
Meeting in 2 weeks at noon, Bonnie, you've got some pool hour.
Yeah, we have some pool issues that we have to take care of in terms of replacing our irrigation system. But we found out that we got $105,000 from the state of Tennessee for our soccer grant.
That'll be a Thursday.
And also the tourism committee will be here. They're doing a tour of the state to present the ceremonial check for the tourism enhancement grant we got for soccer. At 3 o'clock, so we want to like to be here for that here at City Hall.
Planning Commission.
What day is that?
Thursday. And just talking something.
Our meeting's last
Okay. Okay, we get into the resolutions, ordinance.
First thing I have is second reading ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2015 F-150 for $28,538 based upon process negotiated by the state of Tennessee, sponsored by Alderman Fillmore, passed first reading July 19th.
Make a motion.
Okay, then discussion on it? Okay, any old business? Okay, new business, do y'all want to do anything about the veterans? You want to wait and see where they get together? Or?
Tim said that he would be a member of your group, and someone there said that they would accept it. In my opinion, that's what should happen.
He's been a member before, he dropped out.
And that would be his priority.
Do you need us to vote on it, or y'all want to work it out? What do you want us to do?
Vote.
I'd like y'all to vote.
The vote. Vote.
Get it over.
Well, I'll make the motion then that the CCVA receives the permit. And the only reason I'm making that motion is because you guys have said you would accept him as a member, and he's saying out there that he's would be a member. I wish it.
They did have meetings, they had county meetings, and they were invited. Me and the county mayor talked back and forth about this. And, he felt the same way I did about them. Since the veterans is the one that done it, we didn't have anything to do with the courthouse, that the county, and the only thing we were respecting.
It's just disappointing that there were so many.
It's embarrassing.
Negative
If we read this in
comments.
the newspaper, would we all be embarrassed? I'm embarrassed. All the men in my family have served, and I can't imagine this pettiness going on. And,
Well, it was the same thing, I guess, it's in the fair book too, about that we wouldn't do it, blaming people and all that. It's the same thing in there. So we got a motion, we have a second. Okay, this more discussion? Call roll.
Alderman Swan. Alderman Ryan. Alderman Kimball. Alderman Paul.
is that for her?
It's a proper permit each time.
Yeah. And then we sign it.
This is the 60VA, American Legion,
It's
VFW, everybody.
an emergency. Veterans Farm Board and American. We all combined make up the CCA. Again, I'd like to say thank you for that. We appreciate it, Mayor, all of them. Thank you. We're going to work as best as we can on these ceremonies. Thank you for your service. Not all of it.
Let me say, I don't think it's about who's running it.
It's not.
It needs to be all of them being there and us honoring y'all. It's not about who's in it. So, good luck with y'all.
We appreciate it.
Okay, we'll adjourn.